shall we do meditation? One of the last meditations of, probably the last meditation in this class, for a while at least, because we are going to start the classes at 8:30 as I sent you the email on. So let's do meditation today. Om Pratarasmarami Hridisam Spuradatmatattvam Satchit Sukham Paramahams Gatim Turiyam Yat Swapna Jagara Sushuptam Abhaiti Nityam Tad Brahma Nishkalamaham Nacha Bhuta Sangaha. I meditate on the presence, the wisdom, and the kindness of Ishvara towards me. I see the presence of Ishvara kindly showing the mirror to me for me to see what I am. I see and feel the presence of Ishvara holding the mirror in front of me. I totally understand that I cannot see myself except through the mirror. The seer can only be appreciated by the presence of the seen. This is why I totally appreciate Ishvara holding the mirror in front of me. This mirror is in the form of Mandukya Upanishad. Ishvara has many mirrors in the form of many Upanishads, but this particular mirror gives me the clearest view of myself. By studying the Mandukya Upanishad, is like examining the mirror. Making myself directly facing it and holding myself steady so that I can see my reflection clearly. Once the study of the Upanishad is complete, I no longer am focused on seeing the mirror, only the reflection of myself clearly. After a while, I do not view the truths explained in the Mandukya Karika as separately from me. I don't look at the mirror as an object. I am totally absorbed in looking at myself through the Mandukya Upanishad. O Ishvara, I appreciate your presence, your wisdom, and your kindness in holding the mirror steadily in front of me so that I get a clear picture of myself. What I see in the mirror is myself wearing a costume. And the costume that I am wearing is that of being a waker. I am wearing the waking costume. The waking costume makes me look like an experiencer, a doer, an enjoyer, laughing at times, crying at times, anxious at times, worried at times. I see this very sophisticated, complicated costume that I am cloaked in. I am wearing that. I also see through the mirror of Mandukya Karika, Mandukya Upanishad, that I change my costume every day. I change my costume into a dreamer costume. In the dreamer costume, I look like a completely different person. This costume is similar to the first costume, but different. The colors are different. The movements are different. The time periods are different. I change the dreamer costumes many times. Wearing costume number 2, version 1, version 2, and so on. Ishvara, through your Mandukya Upanishad mirror, you also show me that every day I now turn the lights out as I am standing in front of the mirror. When I turn the lights out, I don't see myself at all. Totally dark. It's as though I'm wearing a totally black costume that reveals no form, no activity, nothing. So the mirror shows me in this activity of constantly viewing myself through these three costumes. The waking costume, the dreaming costume, and the sleeping costume. And the Mandukya Upanishad mirror by repeatedly showing me in these three costumes reveals to me who I am, who is wearing these three costumes. It shows that I am Turiyam. Totally free of the costumes. Capable of putting the costumes, putting on the costumes, and thinking that I am the costumed person. Like a person who is capable of putting a costume on and then behaving as the person with the costume. The mirror shows me clearly I am a person who is capable of putting different costumes and also capable of being confused by my own behavior as a costumed person. Ishvara, I thank you by recognizing your presence, your wisdom, and your kindness towards me. By holding the mirror of Mandukya Upanishad steadily in front of me so that I can see what is going on. I thank you. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavatyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Gukarastvandakaro Vai Rukarastvanivartakaha Andhakara Nirodhitvat Gururitya Vidhiyate Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunattu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So from next week on, as you may have read my email, we will start the classes at 8:30 to accommodate the Saturday morning class by Swami Tattvavidarandaji for the beginning of, for the duration of the 9-week course at Sailorsburg. So we will start at 8:30, and we will not do Dashamantras, we'll just do the Shruti Smriti, and to save some time, but we will have a full 1 hour of class. Okay, so last week we had done the Karika, the 4th Karika, Alata Shanti Prakaranam, number 90, verse number 91. So in these concluding verses, Gaudapadacharya ji is summarizing, obviously, is what he is doing. So in these concluding verses, starting with number 91, he is making two important points. Okay. So the first point is for us to clearly see that what we are seeking through our activities of life is something that I'm already there. So we are seeking peace, security, freedom from anxiety, and joy. This is what we are seeking. And what the teachings of Vedas, culminating in Vedanta, is saying that please see that that in fact is your own nature. Your own nature is peacefulness, freedom from anxiety, and not only peace but a joyful peace. This is your nature. But not knowing that, I am searching all over. So this is the praptasya prapti, which is very important for us to really make the foundation of my study. That I am already there, but either I don't know it at all, or I ignore it because I'm used to searching it someplace else. This is the situation. This is the first point. So 2 points these Gaudapadacharya ji is saying, and he will slightly elaborate on this in the next few verses to make these 2 points. But we should understand what is the fundamental points that Gaudapadacharya ji is making. So the first one is that what we are seeking is already our own nature. And for lots of reasons, understandable reasons, we we don't understand it, and we ignore it, and we get impatient. Even if glimpses of this truth appear to me, it is overwhelmed by the samskaras, the vasanas of my normal way of searching, which is just doing something for small morsels of joy. I'm used to doing that. And my mind does not yet understand the absorption of looking at myself that, my goodness, I am already this. It doesn't happen. And the Shastra knows it. It's not as though there is something wrong with me. It says this is the process. You will actually go through this. This is exactly what will happen. Sorry. So this is the first point. And related to this is the second point. And the second point is that if you look at the word samsara, the word samsara means my continuously seeking joy in my life. Seeking joy means a conclusion that I am not joyful, but I'd like to be joyful. This is called seeking joy. And this is characterized by the word samsara. Samyak sarati, one which is continuously moving, continuously searching, is called samsara. This is a nice way to give samsara. Really, samsara means a life of problems, continuous problems. It's continuous problems in the sense that I am fighting an incredible array of things that it's like fires coming all over, and I put out one fire and I feel somewhat happy about it, another fire comes up someplace else. This is what is called samsara. And also another aspect of the samsara is that I don't see an end to it. I don't see an end to it saying, okay, now once I do all this, then I think I'll be okay. That doesn't happen. But yet I don't know what else to do. Even though I don't see the end of it, I keep going. I keep because I don't know what else to do. It'll be even worse if I give up. Even the normal morsels of joy that I get, at least through trying, that also will be gone. So I keep to stay. In other words, like if I don't put out the small fires, then I will be engulfed in the total fire and I'll be gone. So that is not wisdom either. So I at least try to put out any local fires that I am capable of doing. But at the end of that, I don't have any hope that I will be able to put out all the fires around me. And so this is what is called samsara. So we should understand that. Samsara means, I don't know, I'm just coining out a word, hopeless hope. I have a hope that something will happen, but I am not convinced that I will be totally free. This is what is called samsara. And everyone in this world is a samsari, starting with a samsari. So now, having defined the word samsara, let us look at the second point that Gaudapadacharya is saying. He's saying, Dvaitam is samsara. Advaitam is freedom from samsara. This should be very clear to us. If it's not clear to us, we should just repeat it in our minds, like a lesson that needs to be clear to us. Which means, in a way, you can say that the expression of samsara is Dvaitam. Dvaitam means a sense of duality, a sense of plurality. We say duality, but it means sense of plurality. And as long as Dvaita is there, as a conclusion, samsara will be there. This is the point that Advaita, this Gaudapadacharya is doing. This is the point that Gaudapadacharya is making. Dvaitam is samsara, Advaitam is moksha. He's also made the point that Dvaitam does not mean that you stop experiencing Dvaitam. It simply means you understand that Dvaitam is not real. It is really Advaitam. So it is not ceasing the experience of Dvaitam. As you know, by now you must know this quite well in the teaching of Vedanta, that Dvaitam doesn't mean the absence of Advaitam doesn't mean the absence of Dvaitam. It means despite Dvaitam. So the experience will still be there, but the understanding is totally different. As it is, for example, the rising of the sun. The experience remains the same, but those who can see the beauty that really the sun doesn't rise, the sun is staying still and the earth is moving, so it appears that the sun is rising. And similarly in the ocean, if there is a wave which is very bothered by the other threatening waves around it, is told you are wrong, they are not threatening to you, they are only threatening because you take yourself to be a very limited wave, but the reality of yourself is that you are the very water which is not threatened by either yourself or by other waves, because the other waves are also nothing but water alone. And so at that point, the wave remains the wave, and all the other ones are still appearing to be threatening, but his conclusion is gone. His conclusion is totally different. So these are the 2 points that Gaudapadacharya is making. So one is that you are already seeking what you are. The second one is that as long as you have not only the experience, in fact not the experience, but only the conclusion of the experience as being Dvaitam, your being a samsara is not going to go. That is really the solution to the problem of living. Okay. So verse number 91 points out, I can just read the English translation just in the interest of time. By nature, all jivas should be known to be birthless and pure like the space. There is no difference at all among any of the jivas at any time. The very fundamental aspects of all of us is the same, that it is formless, birthless, deathless, changeless reality, that who I am. So here Swami Paramarthananda adds to it And in the commentary on the Karika, that there is no. This is an important point to see, really. So let me just pause here and just say. So there is no sadhana for becoming limitless. So this is a very related point to my sense of doing things in my life. And this will come later on also a little bit, I think, in the next verse. So I'll just I'll combine all of them. So the sense of seeking can also have different stages. So one stage is your worldly seeking. Worldly seeking means arthakama, means a sense of security, a sense of pleasure. So let's just take those two. Let's take dharma and moksha separately. Arthakama. So the arthakama means, if you look at our lives, it is nothing but an expression of arthakama. At all point, I'm just trying to be more secure. I'm making enough money so I can have shelter, security. We take out insurance, security. I eat well so that I don't fall ill, security. All of those. And it also has pleasure. So both artha and kama are there in my. So this is my sadhana. So if you want to say it, this is the sadhana, is that this is the worldly sadhana. Isn't it? Everybody is involved in a worldly sadhana. But at some point in time, through whatever chance or Ishvara is doing or something, I get introduced to spirituality. Now, the point to be made here is that what happens is that, of course, the worldly sadhana goes on, but another sadhana is added to that, which is spiritual sadhana. And the spiritual sadhana also is the same, which means slightly different but similar, not same but similar. It is also seeking for some moksha in the future. I have to study books and I have to meditate, I have to do mananam, I have to do shravanam, I have to do nididhyasanam, I have to have discussions, I have to have questions, I have to attend classes. All of this is spiritual sadhana. And what for what? Because I need to understand what is it that I need to do in order to be permanently happy. This is what we are doing. All this time, there is a very, very weak voice. Weak voice, W-E-A-K, very weak. It's kind of like a squeak somewhere, which I ignore. And what is that weak voice? It says, my dear, you are seeking for nothing, you are already there. But we ignore it, as we said earlier. We ignore it. And the wisdom, the maturity, the bigger, the better qualification of the student is, we do not ignore that weak voice. We don't ignore it. In the midst of this busy life, either through worldly sadhana or spiritual sadhana, in both of them, I should say, what? I am already that? How? This is the inquiry that I have to do. So this is the overall sense of what these verses are saying. So Karika, of course, the Mandukya itself is an advanced Upanishad, and Karika is even more advanced. So this is really the final stages of the study. And the final stages of the study is be very sensitive to your own voice. And if it is not your own voice, this is the voice of the teaching of Ishvara. Vedanta should be seen by as a teaching of Ishvara. This Dakshinamurti. So you should understand Dakshinamurti. The Dakshinamurti means, you see, Ishvara has many murtis. In our understanding of what Ishvara has many forms, many murtis. So it has the murti of Lakshmi. And Lakshmi means that all the important things in my life which are assets to me is Lakshmi. Not just money, but health, wisdom, all of that. Ishvara have Vishnu as the form, as the very protector of babysitter of the world. We should see that things are running in order. This is Vishnu. Similarly, Saraswati, Ganesha, etc., etc. One of the forms of Ishvara is Dakshinamurti. And Dakshinamurti is Ishvara in the form of teaching, as a teacher. Because I am not the ultimate teacher, my Guru was my teacher. My Guru was not the ultimate teacher, his or her Guru was the ultimate, was the teacher. Like this goes all the way up to Ishvara. And so Ishvara's teaching is really what we are, if we are very lucky, then the Ishvara's teaching is has not gone through some transformation in the process, some wrong translations. It is being well preserved, and as far as possible it is the direct teaching of Ishvara. This is what is called Sampradayika Shiksha. Sampradaya. So the Sampradaya means that it has been accurately preserved as the original one. This is why there is no have a separate mission, this mission, that mission. It is Ishvara's mission. It is Arsha Vidya, the Vidya of the Rishis itself. Anyway, so that's what it is. So that Ishvara's voice, which is completely absent in the beginning, and tries to say, this is the reality, but I ignore it. And then as my qualifications as a student improves, hopefully at the very last minute where I understand, not the last minute, the very last stage where I see the advanced teaching of Karika, this voice becomes very strong. And what is that voice? All seeking is a denial of the truth. You are already there what you are. But I said, no, how can that be? Because my experience is wrong. I am not a happy person. Therefore, I want to be a happy person. Therefore, I have to seek. And the voice says, your initial assumptions are wrong. You feel you are an unhappy person because you're looking at your own reflection through your mind. That's not who you are. Just look at it very carefully. This is the trend of these teachings and so on. And so here in verse number 91 it says that there is no plural, there is no real plurality. There is only non-duality, and there is no real duality. Just like, for example, if there are 5 rooms in the house, they all have separate personalities. There is a living room, there is a dining room, there is a bathroom, there is a kitchen. All of them have their own personality. But that doesn't make spaces any different. They all have the same, they partake of the same space. And then they have some Vyavaharika Sat on top of that. But Paramarthika Sat remains the same. So this is what number 91 is saying. So let's go to number 92. So here at 92 it says, well, I can read it quickly. Adi buddhaha prakrityaiva sarve dharmaha sunishchitaha yasyaivam bhavati kshantihi saha amritatvaya kalpate. Saha amritatvaya kalpate. So we can just look at that word. Saha means that person is fit for being immortal. Amritatvaya kalpate. So here kalpate means a sense of fitness. Is it appropriateness? Otherwise you cannot become immortal. And who can become immortal? That is described here. By nature, all jivas are self-evident, and self-evident forever. Not as though they became self-evident. The very nature is they are self-evident. He who enjoys contentment with this knowledge is fit for immortality. He who enjoys the contentment of this knowledge is fit for immortality. So this is what I was saying earlier, that we always have an anxiety about things. We examine our lives, we find that it is full of trying to do something. It's instincted by having anxiety. And anxiety also has different forms. So one of them is, of course, tamasic anxiety. So tamas means that you do the wrong thing. Totally something unacceptable things is tamas. Then rajasic anxiety. So rajasic anxiety should be very clearly seen as that anxiety which may not be wrong. So tamasic anxiety means that you feel so desperate that you don't mind you take some shortcuts and injuring either yourself or others in the process. This is tamasic. But in rajasic anxiety, there is an anxiety to do things so improve your lot. And this is what most of us are. The number of people who have tamasic anxiety, they are either in jail already or they are going to be in a jail. And I don't know what the percentage is, but there must be probably about 2 to 3 or maybe 5%. There's probably a larger percentage of people who are not in jail who should be. Either they violate dharmas or they are whatever. Anyway, let's leave aside that. 90%, 95% of us have rajasic anxiety. And what is rajasic anxiety? We are busy fulfilling our desires. We're very busy. But you ask anybody, so what do you do? He says, I'm very busy. I've got this going on, I've got that going on. This is called rajasic anxiety. And this anxiety also means that it is a denial of yourself. Yeah, I'm very busy, I'm doing something. So why are you doing it? Because I have to do it. What do you want to do? What do you want me to do? Just sit there, do nothing? Okay. How about examining who you really are? What is there to examine who I am? I don't understand what you're talking about. I want some things and I'm busy doing it. This is Rajasic anxiety. And in fact, it's interesting, Sattvic anxiety. So if you know this, what I was saying earlier, that you have a sadhana for the worldly anxiety, for fulfilling worldly anxiety, it is then replaced by an anxiety which is spiritual. This is what we call Sattvic anxiety. And you know, the form of Sattvic anxiety is that I'm attending classes and I'm studying a lot. And we're not saying this is bad, but I'm just telling you this is also is an intermediate step. And so in the parlance of the mirror, as we have talked about, this is still examining mirrors. It is still examining mirrors. It's not like saying, hey, you have a mirror, just look at yourself. No, I need to go find a better mirror. This doesn't show me very well. This is scratched up mirror and so on. That means I have to study more books, attend more classes, do more meditation. And so this is what is called Sattvic anxiety. And you ask somebody, this is exactly what happens to us. You ask somebody that, what are you doing? Well, I am studying Vedanta. Oh, really? You're studying Vedanta? Okay, so what does that mean? Well, I'm trying to understand exactly what is going on about myself. There's some very interesting truths about me, and I'm trying to get it. So what are you doing? Are you done? No, I'm not done yet. I'm still kind of, working and this, that, the other. And this means I'm busy studying books. And to a certain extent, this needs to be done. I agree. But really, in and through that, are you really examining yourself as you are? Have you stopped shopping for a better mirror? And whatever mirror you have, just looking at yourself yet? No, not yet. Not yet. I'm still doing this. So here, this is what number 92 says, that and so so look at this very beautiful analysis of this verse number 92 that Swami Paramarthananda has explained very well. What time do we have? 9:03. He says that this spiritual anxiety presents itself in understanding Atma Anubhava, the experience of Atma. This is what normally sometimes, students all say, well, I've been studying the Vedanta for a while, but I don't have the experience. How do I get the experience? The common question that comes up from time to time. Some say it very loudly, others don't say it, but inside they have the same feeling. Vedanta is saying something that I'm free and so on, but I don't feel free yet. That means that I have to have that experience, this aparoksha anubhuti of being free. Right? This is what I'm seeking. So, Gaudapada says that there is no need for Atma Anubhava. There is no need for Atma Anubhava because the definition of Atma experience, this experience of freedom, means this freedom is not yourself at the moment. This itself is a problem. The very fundamental problem is that you're seeking an experience which you already have. And how do I have it? How do you mean by I already have it? I don't understand how I already have it. Because the Atma is in the form of an experience. Atma means I. The nature of I is an experience. And this experience is anadi. It's from the very beginning. It's from the very beginning. So what does that mean with from the very beginning and this is the experience and so on? So let's look at the constituents of it. So when I say I am old, not do I say it, but I feel it, I reveal it, I express it, whatever, old or young or some kind of, since I'm old, I'm just taking that as the example. I am old. So this is my experience. In this experience, I am revealing two things. One thing is, I am, and the second thing is the word old. Okay? So if you look at it, I am is the self-revealing experience. Self-evident, self-revealing. I am. You don't need confirmation from anything else that you are. You don't need that. Now, when you say I am old, the word old needs a confirmation. It needs evidence. How? Because there is a reason for being old. You look at your body and you see wrinkles. You see your hair growing gray or disappearing. You see your memory fading. There is a reason for the conclusion old. Because your original conclusion is not I am old. But something happens due to which you conclude I am old. Right? Obvious. This is not the conclusion for I am. There is no which is called hetu. Hetu means a cause. There is no hetu like it is for being old. There is a hetu. Hetu means that there is a reason for that conclusion. And it depends on that conclusion. Your conclusion depends upon that reason. That's what I meant to say. But in the case of I am, there is no hetu. There's no reason. This is what is called self-evident. No one can go to a doctor and say, "Doctor, am I there?" You can't do that. You'll be put into some kind of a mental hospital if you persist. First of all, the doctor will laugh at you. But then if you keep on saying, "No, doctor, no, I really came to you to really find out if I am there." The doctor says, "My next appointment in about 15 minutes. Is there anything else we need to talk about?" He says, No, I don't want to talk about anything else. I just want to know if I am." So the doctor says, No, you are already there. Please, it's okay. It's all right. And then you say, No, doctor, you don't understand. I really want to. You know what will happen? The doctor is going to press a special button, which means not only the nurse, but the local security officer, "Please take this guy away. He belongs to some mental hospital, not in a hospital, not this doctor's office." You don't do that. Just think about yourself. So here's a very important thing, really. I'm spending some time on this. These are not ordinary verses. It says that by nature all jivas are self-evident. Here, just look at this. Adi buddhaha prakritya eva. Evident from the very beginning, Adi buddhaha. Sunishchitaha are self-evident. Sarve dharmaha. So here, this word dharma is used by the Buddhists also. And that is why sometimes Gaudapadacharya is accused of being a Buddhist just because he uses the word dharmas for jiva. Absolute nonsense, nothing to do with it. Prakritya eva, by nature itself, it is it's self-evident from the very beginning. So if we look at going back to our analysis of this, so when you say I am old, this is the viveka that we have to do. This is the discriminative wisdom that we have to undertake. We have to look at the sentence I am old in its two basic constituents. One constituent is I am, and the second constituent is I am old. And the constituent which I am is self-evident. Self-evident means what? Self-evident means it does not need a hetu. You never ever question the fact that I am. Then what? What happens is that I don't think about myself in this pure form that I am. This is what is going to come in the next class. Asti bhati priyam rupam namacha iti ansha panchakam adyatrayam brahma rupam jagat rupam tatodvayam. So the brahma rupa means asti bhati priyam. Asti bhati priyam. I am. When you say I am, it also means I am aware that I am. Awareness and amness are one and the same thing. They are not two separate, they are not parts of myself. I am and I am aware. This is self-evident, has no hetu. And then what happens is that my spiritual sadhana, or my worldly sadhana, either one, they are two separate, they are two sides of the same coin in that way, is all involved in not examining the truth of just the first segment, I am, but to understand how I can get rid of the second segment. Not get rid of it, but how do I cope up with it? How do I address it? And what is the second segment? I'm old. And as a consequence of being old, I have a lot of sicknesses. And so I'm addressing each one of them one by one. My heart is not working, so I have to go to a heart specialist. My mind is not working, so I go to a psychiatrist. All those kinds of things have to do with the second segment only, but not with the first segment. So, Gaudapada says, why don't you please just look at the first segment? How can I look at the first segment, which is, I don't understand now what the first segment is. And you know, it's interesting. I don't appreciate the full importance of the first segment. Oh, I am. Of course I am. What is the big thing about it? There is nothing. This is the issue. I don't understand why this is such a big issue. I ignore it. I am, but the question is what I am. Am I old or am I young or how am I going to go? All of that. This is the issue. You don't have your soul. So this is where the Rajasic anxiety, the Sattvic anxiety and the Tamasic anxiety comes in. All having to do with the second segment. Old is just one aspect of it. There's such a wide variation. But really speaking, Gaudapada says, please, this is what is called Brahman, Atma and Brahman, I am, Satyam Jnanam Anantam, Asti Bhati Priyam. This is enormously important, but I don't investigate it. And a person who understands this does not have any anxiety for self-knowledge. This is an important point. To have an anxiety for self-knowledge is also a misplaced anxiety, because I am already there. So then one can say, well, you know, I am already there, but I don't appreciate it, so I still have anxiety. So what have you told me? We haven't told anything other than the fact that search you have to, you know, it's like saying I cannot stop searching for myself because I don't know where it is, and you are asking me to stop the search, and that doesn't make any sense. I cannot stop the search. I have to go on. So you have to look at that this is, I am not in the form of a search. The searched is the searcher. This is what I have to see. Well, I'm not ready to really say that. This doesn't mean much to me. I don't quite understand that. These are all thoughts that come in as an answer to this. And it says, really, in the beginning, it might appear kind of strange, but really if you just don't waste your time searching and dwell in yourself as Satchit Ananda. So the Jnana Yoga, you know, so you have Karma Yoga, you have Upasana Yoga, then you have Jnana Yoga. So when he says, Saha Amritatvaya Kalpate. So you'd say that this is Jnana Yoga, and once I have knowledge and so on and so forth, then I will become immortal. You're already immortal. Just appreciate that. How do you appreciate? I don't know. We'll help you, but just appreciate that. That's it. Don't first conclude that I am mortal. And then how do I remove the mortality so I become immortal? This is the problem. Who said that you are mortal? We didn't say you are mortal. You're already immortal. And whatever you need to do, either stop searching or modify your search or just understand it, but it is really speaking, you are Brahman already. Not any different. Here Swami Paramarthananda uses this word very well. I really like his use of that word. He says, please claim your immortality. He uses the word claim. So here, you know, this is word kalpate. Kalpate. Saha amritatvaya kalpate. Kalpate means you are fit for it. Fit for meaning you just claim it. It's like, you know, we've gone through this example that some kind relative left you with $10 million into your account because she had no one else to give it to you, and so you were her favorite nephew when you were young, and she unexpectedly left you with $10 million when she died. And the lawyers all came by and he said, yes, we can confirm that she has given you $10 million. Here are the papers. First you don't believe it because you're just living hand to mouth, but now you have it. You have it in the bank. You go to the bank and he says, you mean this is mine? He says, yes, sign here. That's it. From now on, you have a checkbook. You can use this money anytime. Now, so the question is, so then what happens? You know what happens? You can picture this. So you and your wife came back from the bank and you said, wow, I can't believe this. So you know the first thing that they do is, don't tell anyone. Because they would all want to get some portions of it. So we're just going to be very quiet about it, okay? So we both say, okay, we're not going to use the money. Now, so you go back to your normal life and so on. You worry about your electricity bill, your mortgage, this, that, or the other. And that bank account is sitting there. You don't claim it. And there is anxiety of daily living is there, but you don't claim it. but you should claim it. This is the word kripana. Karpanya dosho apahat sama. Arjuna says, this is the word kripana. Kripana means a miser. Miser means one who has not, the money is yours, but you have not used it. So here also, Gaudapada says, please see that you talk about money, $10 million, this, that, or the other, just money. Here you're talking about immortality. What a difference. And this immortality is ready for you to claim because it is yourself. My dear friend, it is yourself. You don't have to become immortal. You are immortal. It's your own nature. It is just that you don't stop at the first segment, I am. You immediately have to go to what I am. Am I old? And oldness, in the example of our meditation, is a costume. The entire set of things in your waking life is nothing but a costume. And it's like wearing a costume which is getting old. At first you enjoyed it, you felt very good about your body, how young I look and so on, but pretty soon the same old costume starts to, as you wash it many times, pretty soon the threads go bad, and now the same costume with which you looked very good in the beginning, now is starting to look ratty. And you don't like it. So take it off. Wear a new costume for the next life? No. Just see yourself that I am immortal. I am the very space itself. I am not a room space. I am not the wave of the water. I am the water itself. And it looks very strange in the beginning. Really? This is what we have to do. Anyway, I think we have exceeded our time. So that is the trend of these verses. And so we will do verses 93 plus next time. Okay? Om Swasti Prajabhyah Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahishaha Go Brahmanebhya Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Parjanyaha Prithvi Sasya Shalini Desho Yam Kshobarahita Brahmana Santu Nirbhaya Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet Asato Ma Satkamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityor Ma Amritam Gamaya Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. I don't see any questions per se. So namaste to all of you, and we will see you next week. Okay? Om Hari Om.